one of the bait I want to talk a little bit about is the chatterbait. Now, when this thing first came out, I thought, that's just dumb. I just can't see how an open hook bait is going to be very useful to me, because I like to fish around cover. Bass get around cover, I fish cover most of the time. So when that thing first came out, they used it in Florida, and I kind of fell under the spell that that's just going to be kind of a grass lake bait. Well, that is not the case. This is a swimming jig that anybody can swim. I mean, it does all the work for you. Throw it out, reel it in. You cannot get any easier than this thing is right here. And it has basically taken the place of what spinnerbaits. When I go to a tournament, I seldom take any spinnerbaits with me anymore. I got a chatterbait tied on. I don't care where we go. I got chatterbaits tied on. And it comes in so many different colors. I'll use the crawfish colors, swimming a jig, and I love using the whites and chartreuses. We get shad spawns around the docks and stuff, and this white chatterbait takes the place of any spinnerbait. It goes into places anywhere that you couldn't put a spinnerbait before, but yet you can fish it in places where you do normally with those spinnerbait. It's just such a simple bait, and I think that's what's so great about it, is how simple that it is. I mean, it looks a little complicated, but basically you got your snap up front, which I don't know the reason for the snap other than that you could use a split ring. It doesn't matter. That's just a line tie. You're not going to unsnap and resnap these things. Tied on right there. When I'm using my chatterbait, I almost always use it on at least 16 pound. That's probably my favorite line. And if I get around some places where maybe the bush, skipping around some bushes or something where the cover's a little heavier, I'll go up to 20. But 16 pound FC Sniper is by far my favorite line to use on that chatterbait right there. And it skips underneath docks, you fish in open water. Go ahead. Trailer. I always use a trailer on it. And that's another cool thing about this, is I can make this bait as big a profile or as small a profile as I want. I've put 5-6 inch swim baits on the back of these. One of my favorite trailers is this flap and crawl we have right here. And this is a pearl flap and crawl. And so for this bait right here, real simple, just thread it up onto the hook, like so. Put it up on there, ready to fish. I mean, I love using this bait like that. And if I get where there's a lot of shad, normally for this one here, I'll use the darker colors. It's more of a bluegill color with the same California 420 flapping shad on there. Or, like I said, I'll use a minnow type bait on the back of this as well. Maybe a swim bait, even the straight tail minnow look. So the versatility of it, I think, is what's so cool about this bait.
You said there's a lot of shad to go with bluegill color?
No, a lot of shad. I'll use the white, chartreuse and white. Depending on the watercolor too, you know. I'll mix in that chartreuse if the water's got a little bit of a stain to it. But between those two baits right there, those are the two I throw most of the time, is that bluegill color and that white one right there. These here, the ones I have in my hand, is the new Elite version. And this is something that me and a couple other guys on the pro staff I had a lot of hand in. And the difference between an Elite chatterbait and the regular chatterbait is, one, is we got a Gamakatsu hook in there. Okay, so this is a premium, very stiff wire, because so many times I'd get hooks that would just open up because the hook wasn't strong enough. It's a bigger hook, so like when I had the swim baits on there, this is a 5. I used to have 4s on them. The regular chatterbait will have a 4 on it. This is a 5-aught Gamakatsu. It also has on the shank of the hook the bait keeper. So before I was always gluing those up there, whereas now it's got that bait keeper. It's got that barb on there, so you slide it up on there, keeps the bait keeper in place. And the next thing is a little bit different colors and the painted blades. Before he only had like on the white one, all I ever used was a chrome blade. Now I've got some white blades, the black blades. I really like that black blade. If you haven't ever tried it, I think it works really well. So that's the difference between the Elite. There's the hook holder, and the paint colors on it. But the action, still the same. Still the same. Great little vibration comes through the water. And that little front end vibrating like that, everything else in the back looks like a little group swimming through the water all the time. And it's such a fun bait, and it's so versatile, and it catches all kinds of, because we fish for largemouth spots, smallmouth, so it's just a cool bait. The thing about the baits was this one right here. I want to talk to you about this bait right here. The same trailer that I used right here. This is made out of the nice sharp hook. This is made out of the Elastec material. Now, any of you guys ever tried to use with this stuff here, you might have been a little frustrated because it's not the same material that all the other baits are out, all the other soft plastics are out there. One thing I want to make sure, when you get some of this stuff, it does not like any other plastics. They don't get along at all. You have to, if you buy some of this and put it in a box where there's other plastics, soft plastics in there, you're going to have one big goo the next day. It's unbelievable what it'll turn into. It's just like, what? As long as they're in there together, if they're close enough together to where it's going to start reacting, you get such a mess. But the cool thing about this stuff is once you get past that, how incredibly durable it is. So, I mean, it lasts so much longer. Like when I put that on that trailer, it'll stay on there till I take it off. I mean, it just stays on there that long. Well, I think the coolest thing about it is that it floats. And you think, why would that be very helpful? Well, most of the time when you're fishing something like that, you're never fishing it just on its own. You've always got a sinker on there. You've got something there that weights it down. So on this one here, this bait right here, when it hits the bottom, it wants to stand up because it wants to float. So every time your bait hits the bottom and stop it, it stands up instead of falling over. Now, in one situation where that works really the best, and that's bed fishing, and that's something I did this year in the Elite when we were down at St. John's River. I caught an 8-pounder on this, but all my bed fish came on that bait right there, that pearl white craw. And the reason is everybody's bed fishing, so everybody's trying to find a little bit something different. And the white bait for me is just so much better because I can see it. I know where it's at in the bed. I know I never lose sight of my bait. I always know where it is. The cool thing about it is I could pitch it over there, wait for that bait to settle down there, kind of pull it into the bed, and when I'd stop it, so many times the fish will react to it, and you stop the bait, it would then start to stand up. Every time it'd stand up in those pinchers. So even though the bait's not moving in the bed, this thing would stand up and just open up its thing. It'd do that every time, and I can't tell you how many times that was what would trigger that fish, because they've been fished for, and they see the same things. You always, in order to make your bait look lifelike, you always got to keep moving it. And when you're moving it, it's coming out of that bed. You can't keep it in there. For this stuff right here, though, when you'd stop it, that thing would just stand up in front of that fish, and man, it's so much fun to watch that take place. I think that's what's a lot of fun about sight fishing, is because you know how you're doing with this fish, because he's either into it or he's not. So